President Trump and Charlottesville. We're back at it. So at the beginning of the president's term, he created this sort of council on manufacturing, or Trump's manufacturing council was made up of a number of CEOs. Now he's been dropping CEOs like flies, right? So he lost a number of them. He lost Tesla, he lost Disney, and since Charlottesville, he lost Merck, which is the pharmaceutical company. He lost Under Armour. He lost the AFL-CIO, and I think I'm missing. He lost Intel and a couple of others. And so, mind you, Donald Trump has still not condemned David Duke or Richard Spencer. David Duke is the former Grand Wizard of the KKK. Richard Spencer is the former head of the alt-right. But he has lost a lot of members of this CEO. Now, there's still some CEOs on this commission, and my question is why they're still sitting there. I'm not really sure. Like Campbell Soup, and I have called Campbell Soup, and I've asked them why their CEO is still sitting on this commission when there are millions of Americans who buy Campbell Soup who aren't racist, even though we are still questioning whether or not the president is or is not racist. Right? Don't get me wrong, we've questioned a president's racism before. Now let me be very clear. I think we've heard people question President Bush's racism, right, after Katrina. And yes, the government failed the people of Katrina. But I'm going to be very frank with you. I do not think, maybe in policy, but not in practice, that George Bush is a racist. Donald Trump, I want to say, and this is very hard for me to say this, Fowler Nation. I'm not, and you guys know this, I'm not one of the people that throw this word around easily. I don't. But when David Duke on Saturday looks in the camera and says, we're out here trying to fulfill Donald Trump's agenda. We're trying to take our country back. And in taking our country back, that's how we're going to make America great again. And on Tuesday, this president doesn't have harsh words for David Duke. That to me is problematic. Right? And when after the president's presser, off the rails presser on Tuesday, when David Duke then tweets, "Thank you, Mr. President, for having the courage to stand up for us and, talk about how racist and talk about the terrorism and racism of Antifa and Black Lives Matter," that's problematic. Now let me set the record straight on both the people who are trying to make this correlation between Black Lives Matter and the KKK. We'll start with history. The KKK was founded in 1865 following the United States Civil War, when the North won and slavery was made illegal by the 13th Amendment. And then voting was made legal for all citizens by the 14th Amendment. Then the Klan was created, right? And what the Klan did was terrorize. They were terrorists to African Americans and those who sympathized with African Americans in the South. They were known for having torches and burning crosses in the homes of African Americans. They were known for ripping black men who looked just like me out of their beds at night and lynching them and castrating them. They were known for, if I were to stare at a white woman 50 or 60 years ago, for coming to my home and lynching me and hanging me. They were known for enforcing Jim Crow laws because a lot of times Klansmen infiltrated themselves into police departments throughout the South. That's what they were known for, ladies and gentlemen. And back then, if you notice, they wore hoods to hide their identity. Today, these same individuals who are part of the Klan have taken the hoods and replaced them with Make America Great Again hats, Brooks Brothers khaki pants, and polo shirts. They're the same individuals. They have the same hurtful and deceitful hearts. And they parade around with the American flag, yet they trample upon American values each and every day, 365 days of the year. That is a stark contrast to what Black Lives Matter is and what Black Lives Matter stand for. Black Lives Matter was created 5 years ago after the death of Trayvon Martin, a young black man who was at his father's house, who left his father's house to go to the local 7-Eleven to buy some Skittles and a lemonade iced tea. On his way home, he was followed by a bully named George Zimmerman, who proceeded to leave his vehicle and then get in a wrestling match, WWE style, with said black man. And then he proceeded to shoot him. And then he walked free. And then the question was asked, do Black Lives Matter? Which spurred a movement that took over the country where individuals asked the question, does a Black Life matter? Are they terrorist groups? No. Do they pull white people out of their beds and lynch them? No. Are there bloods on the hands of Black Lives Matter members? No. The fact that I'm having this conversation about Black Lives Matter, to be frank, is rather insulting. But I feel the need to have the conversation so I can educate people so you don't make a correlation between a hateful group of white people who want to put me in chains and put me and noose me around a tree, and a group of individuals that are fighting for liberty and justice for all.